Hello, my Food Moon friends. I'm here with the chickens. This is a topic request. Somebody in my YouTube comments asked if I would do an episode on eggs and dairy. And so I figured what other better place than next to my friend's chickens, hanging out with the chicken coop and talking about eggs and dairy. So this is the topic today.
Welcome! Here is your hostess and coach, Chandra Zas, helping people make food and mood changes doable without missing out. Go ahead, high five that like button, subscribe and share while you're there.
So when I was a kid, I had a lot of food allergies, which included eggs and dairy also, and wheat and gluten, and really actually quite a long list, including oranges and quite a long list of allergies. And so I went for a while without any. And one of the things that I found with gut health is that when we have a more resilient gut, when we have a more resilient microbiome, when our body is not in a state of inflammation, when we're in a more sound health place, that our body responds differently than when we're in a weak state or when we're in a reactive allergic state. So for me the answer is what is the question is like, are eggs and dairy good for us? The answer really depends on the state of someone's health. So what I've seen happen, what happened with myself and what I've seen happen with other people is that when we gain our health, when our microbiome is stronger, when our gut function is stronger, we're able to enjoy eggs and dairy differently than when we're in a inflamed, reactive, allergic state. So depending on your state of health is going to depend on if you can tolerate or if even dairy and eggs are good for you or not. Now, so there's the kind of like the first part of the answer. There's going to be many layers to this answer. When we're in a state of when our gut function is really good, which means that we don't have any inflammation, we don't have any health symptoms, we're pooping regularly, our skin is clear, our energy levels are high, there's no bloating, there's no gas. When we're in that state, many people can eat dairy and eggs and feel great. Now, there is another piece that I want to bring in here, which is the genetic piece. So I recently just did my genetics with one of my doctors and crossed it with my blood work. And one of the things she told me is, she said, your body genetically doesn't tolerate dairy very well, which I've kind of always known. Like, I've known that dairy is not like one of my superfoods. But there's been many, many times since my gut has been in a really strong, good place for the last 10 years where I can have dairy and it's not a problem at all. Like, I can have, and for me, it's a little bit here and there. It's not every day in my diet. It's not every meal. Hello, my friend. How are you? I'm in the Dead Sea, floating in the water. Go ahead and like and share and follow so we can keep in touch. Like, I'll eat whole milk Greek organic yogurt. I really love that. I'll have raw unpasteurized cheese. Occasionally, like a couple times a week, not every day. Now, so depending on where your genetics are or where our genetics are, then we're able to have more or less dairy depending on the state of our gut health and depending on the state of our body. Now, one thing that I deeply believe true for everybody is the importance of organic eggs and dairy. The way that I think about it after doing a lot of research and also a lot of self-experimentation is that when animals are not taken care of, when their health is not prioritized, which is the reality for all of the factory farmed animals who are providing milk and providing eggs and providing calories to all of us humans, when they're in a massive group and they're kept indoors and they're kept in cages and their health is poor, then they're given hormones to produce more and they're given a lot of medications because they're sick. And so when we the dairy and the eggs from these animals is a really different food than the dairy or the eggs from animals who are living in nature, who are healthy naturally without medications. The quality of these eggs and dairy is night and day different. If you can find dairy, local dairy and eggs, and from animals who are treated really well, who are healthy, who are not on feed, they're not eating processed food, just like I teach with my clients to get off of processed foods, because processed foods have a lot of things that really harm our health. It's the same thing for animals. I even have been working with one of my clients with her dog. Like, when we give our animals processed food, it harms their health just like it harms our health. And then when we're not taking care of our animals' health and their bodies are having to store a lot of toxins, whether it's medications or processed foods or bad oils, then they're storing it in their fat. And when we're eating dairy and eggs, specifically dairy, we're eating their fat. And so we're eating where their toxins are stored. So we're eating a higher amount of toxins than we are from an organic, pasture-raised, high quality of life animal. So one of my biggest messages and answers to this question is that not all dairy and eggs are equal. And I personally do not support the factory farm raised animals' life quality. And also, I really protect my own health by not consuming them, because I know what is in those animal products, that there's a lot of toxins, there's a lot of medications, there's a lot of things that don't really help my body. And so when I eat dairy, and my little one loves dairy, and both my partner and my little one, I think that they tolerate dairy much better than I do. And so we have dairy in our house. But my rule, and also how I help and teach my clients, is to have organic and, if possible, local, like not pasteurized yogurt, dairy, cheese, like really making it close to the earth, not traveled far, with animals who are actually really healthy. And in this circumstance, then I think that dairy and eggs can be quite a useful place to get our calories and our fats and our oils and our proteins. And when we don't have access, I mean, we travel a lot. We travel all over the world in many countries. So we've shopped. We don't just have one place we shop. We're always kind of figuring out, whenever we're going somewhere new, we're figuring out, okay, well, where are we getting our food from? How do we find the organic things? How do we find the local things? How do we find vegetables, dairy, meats? Like, this is the top thing that we do first thing when we arrive to a new place. So I know it's hard, no matter where you're at, like, it's hard to find these things, but it's crucial. It's so crucial for our own health. And I know that it costs more money, because it costs more energy and time to raise these animals, or to raise the vegetables for them to be organic. But the health benefits are just, for us, it's just, there's no question. Like, it's a top priority for us to eat organic vegetables, organic dairy, and really make sure that it's the least amount of toxins that are coming into our body, so that it makes the work on our body, our detox organs have to work quite hard to process everything and to move everything through. And so to make this workload less on our body, it's both processed foods and it's also organic. Like, these two pieces are huge for our health and for the workload on our body. And the same thing for the animals. And to me, it's a win-win to support animals having a good life. I was vegan for 9 years. I actually have a funny story that the marketing team that I've been starting to work with, the copywriter refuses to work on my work because I promote eating meat, and he's a militant vegan. And my best friend, when I was 15, she was a militant vegan, and it's the reason she dared me to be vegan. And it was one of the big food epiphanies of my life, was being vegan for 2 weeks and realizing how good I felt off of processed foods. And it started my whole movement towards organic and whole foods. And I mean, it changed my life. And I was vegan for 9 years. I lived without eating any animal products. But what I found was that my body actually really needs, particularly meat. I'm a blood type O, and I really need protein. And so I've committed to making sure that I have regeneratively farmed, sourced meat that comes from animals who are treated really well and who are also really healthy. It's a win-win for both the animals' lives and also my health. And so I don't think it's necessarily a black or white that animals are good for us or not good for us. I think there's a lot of granularity in how the animals' lives are, how healthy they are, and also our genetics. How does our body respond, and also the state of our health. There's a layered, it's not one answer. There's these different pieces that are really important to know about and consider when we're making decisions on, do I eat this dairy or not eat this dairy, or do I eat these eggs? You know, I don't. When I was a kid, I didn't eat any eggs. I had like a big egg allergy. Now I eat eggs quite regularly. It's one of my favorite sources of protein. But I feel the difference when I eat non-organic, non-healthy chicken eggs. At this point, I feel I have a super sensitivity towards how foods make my body feel. My body's like running on really, really clean energy sources. And so I can feel the difference in the eggs. I know that might sound kind of crazy to some of you guys, but I can feel the energetic quality, and I can feel the vibration in my body drop when I eat less clean, less human potential foods, not organic. I can feel it in I've been like hesitant to really say that for a long time, because I think that it can be easily understood as kind of crazy, and I'm not totally disagreeing. It does sound kind of crazy, but I do really feel it. And I'm watching my clients as they're going through their food resets, and watching them, like, their eyes pop open and be like, wow, I actually feel this difference. I feel how my energy drops. I feel how my energy drops when I eat this food versus that food. And that is the magic in making these food changes, is when we actually see and feel the difference, when we notice the patterns. That's why I don't use any willpower. It doesn't take any willpower for me to not have non-organic dairy. Like, when I see non-organic dairy, I know how that's going to make me feel, and I would really rather just keep feeling on and feeling alive and feeling, this way. So it makes the decision making like not from willpower or force. It comes from just like really wanting to feel amazing, to feel really clear and on. So those are what I've noticed with dairy and eggs. If you have any more questions on dairy or eggs, I'm happy to answer them. But that is how I think about and choose and coach my clients around dairy and eggs. And I think, I know there's a big like anti-raw milk movement and belief system. And I think it really matters, because raw milk is like much more volatile. It has, the potential to grow bacteria and stuff. But if it's clean and it's a good source, you also have that potential of putting really good microbes into your gut microbiome from having raw milk. So, I think that it's all about getting more local, and it's all about getting high quality sources, and everything in our body benefits, and everything in the planet benefits from focusing on organic and supporting organic animal lives, and also not eating too much. I think that's the other thing about, all animal products. I think that they're a great source of protein and oils for all of our bodies, and it doesn't have to be every meal every day, to treat it like a medicine. I really think that food is a medicine, and so to treat dairy and eggs and animal foods like a medicine, where they are something that when our body needs it, that it's not just our go-to, and it's not just assumed, and we're not just entitled to having as much as we want all the time, but to treat it like a medicine, and to treat it like and the life that it is. Whoa, we went deep there, huh? I went deep there. So if you have any more questions, I'm happy to answer any more questions. If you have any more topic requests, I'm happy to answer more topics. But those are my views and ways that I think about and operate when it comes to dairy and eggs. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.